Welcome to my show. I'm a guest here. His name is Dillon Hill. Mr. Dillon, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking.
Thank you so much for the opportunity, Mr. Dillon. Firstly, you are an entrepreneur. Can you please, Mr. Dillon, discuss more about yourself and how you are doing currently now, Mr. Dillon?
My business, so I work with both men and women, and the modality I work with is really in the realm of inner child healing and shadow work. And I help the successful overthinker really try and just re-grasp their life in both relationships and in their business. And so what this equates to ultimately is healing one's relationship with themselves. That is the core of the foundation of my work.
Oh, very beautiful insight. Thank you so much, Mr. Dillon. And also, do you have any book you've written or are you planning to write any book in the coming future, Mr. Dillon?
It's funny that you asked that because if you were to ask me something like that 10 years ago, it would be a hard no. I was never really big into reading. I was never really one that, like, I would try reading like self-help books or autobiographies and stuff like that, and it just never, it never resonated. And now that I've been in this world for quite some time, a book is something that I might actually entertain at some point in the future. I've written a few like ebooks like that are like, less than 30 pages long, but an actual like self-help book where you're really diving into some self-exploration and personal development, I think that that would actually be a bucket list thing for me now. Absolutely.
Definitely, completely agree. Thank you so much, Mr. Dillon, for those insights. Definitely hope probably we be able to write a book in the coming future. I would like to dive to the point of community, to build a community that is action oriented, Mr. Dillon. What do you think it takes to build a community that is not supportive but also action oriented, Mr. Dillon?
I think to build a community like that, it takes a small group of people that have that desire. And I can actually relate a lot to this question in my real personal life right now because I have my two best friends where we are actually building a community through his gym that he's opening up here in the city, where literally the slogan for the gym is community and brotherhood, sisterhood, and basically cultivating a space where people, no matter what time of day you walk through, there's going to be a smiling, welcoming face on the other end of the door. And so, when it comes to just community overall, I think it starts with a drive behind a purpose, but with drive, a genuine desire to solve a problem that shows up in, oh, how do I articulate this? The only way that I can really explain this from my perspective is how I kind of already laid it out there, where I live, there is a genuine need for community in itself. And the my best friend had decided to take it upon himself to start cultivating this community, this just building this connection, a place for people to call home outside of their home, and a place for people to look forward to go for unconditional love and support. And I think in today's society, that unconditional love and support is not there like it once was. I think we see so much divide in the world today on whatever topic it is that community is something that we are being starved of, whether it's by design or whether it's just by how the cards have fallen. But I know that once I started becoming a part of a community, a part of something bigger than just myself, every aspect of life just seems more colorful, more full, more vibrant, more awe-inspiring because you know that you have a place that you can go back to where you're not feeling shameful to celebrate your wins. And not only that is you have a group of people around you who support you that are cheering for you in your wins as well. And I think that everybody should be a part of a community, a group, a movement of some sort that's bigger than themselves because we all could use extra support. There are so many people out there that are mean and we're mean and our own biggest critic. Like there's just a certain level of confidence that a person can have knowing that you have an entire group or community that's willing to back you on whatever it is your passion is.
Completely agree, Mr. Dillon. Community, empathy, love, and care is something that we are lacking in our time currently. As you said earlier, when someone have community, it definitely shows a sign of colorness. It definitely shows this kind of belonging. That's once someone can just fall back into a place when there is even issue, when there is ups and down in some situation, because life can't be straight always. There will also be zigzag when it comes to time. Those community are things that will definitely show this kind of empathy and care towards one another, and that is definitely thing that we definitely need. This is a very, very important. And from your experience, Mr. Dillian, what do you think are some mindset shifts that you think you've seen in people once they become a part of a purpose-driven community, Mr. Dillian?
Oh, well, I can share with you my mindset shift that I had being a part of this community that my buddy is building. Um, so growing up, I have been fortunate that I've had a lot of people that been able to consider my close friends. And of course, just with life happens, people grow, people change, their paths change or course correct and all that good stuff. And we end up separating from some specific individuals on the journey. Now, being involved with my current community, I am literally surrounded by people who actively try and help me solve my problems without me in the room. I have never had friendships or community around me to do that. When I show up expecting a hangout and my friends are like, hey, you remember this thing we were talking about last night or last week or whatever? Well, my other buddy and he, it's like, we were talking about that too. And if it was okay, we've thought of a couple potential solutions for you. I've never had that. So when you know that you're a part of something, then there's people that are going to cheer for you, actively trying to help you build your dreams, and just because you're a part of the system, like that, it was life changing. I remember I was set back when my buddy approached me with some ideas for my own business from a genuine place of care, not from a place of superiority, not a I know this better than you, but just a simple place of curiosity, compassion, empathy, and a desire to help because that's what brotherhood and community is about. And it just blew me away. And so again, from the last question, if a person is not part of some sort of community, I highly recommend it. It was never something I ever strived for in the past, but now I wouldn't be able to move through life normally without some sort of community now. Like I need it. I need in a good way, not as I need it and I won't be able to live life without it, but it's like I see the benefit. My personal growth has literally 10x'd in the last 2 years because of this community that the three of us have been trying to cultivate and people bringing it in, and it's just growing and growing and growing. And yeah, that's about it. I could hammer that point home a little more, but that's the biggest takeaway that I can give from that.
Community is very, very beautiful. It helps the body on. It even helps the mental wellness in our time. It helps some kind of depression, anxiety, even trauma that we are having in our time today. It helps in a lot of things. So being in a community, I definitely agree with you, Mr. Dillion. It really, really helps in many ways. As you said from your experience, how it has really, you know, change a lot of people mindset when it comes to, and even help you as well, Mr. Dillian. So thank you so much for that insight, Mr. Dillian. I would also like to go to how do you what you think people can do to also grow emotionally and also or spiritually when they serve others in a community, Mr. Dillian. What are some unexpected ways you think personally people grow emotionally or spiritually when they serve others in a community context, Mr. Brian?
Well, I have learned that when we are a part of a community that is in alignment with our goals, but on a bigger scale, you or all of us or whoever's a part of said community, we are forced to grow. I'm a very big believer that we are a sum of the five people we spend the most of our time with. And so if the people in your community and the people that you choose to surround yourself with inside of this community are people that you want to strive to be like. They're people that are supporting you, your wins, your successes. We all might be on different paths, but there's definitely some interwovens and some crosses and stuff like that. You will not not grow. It is basically like you are in a perfect garden with the perfect amount of sunlight, with the perfect amount of water, the perfect amount of nutrients. Now, don't get me wrong, sometimes it's going to be a little uncomfortable. Sometimes the growth is uncomfortable. There's still the weeds that sprout up that need to be removed. But rest assured that regardless of what tomorrow brings, whether or not it's more sunshine or more rain, the people that you surround yourself with in that community are going to be there to support you, to catch you, to listen with an unbiased ear or point of view, a group of people where you can actually be authentic and not feel the need to wear a mask or some sort of facade. I don't know what is more valuable in this life because you can have your entire family unit part of a bigger community. You can be an individual part of a bigger community. You could have an entire business with X amount of employees, part of something bigger, as long as there is a mission for some sort of embetterment where we're lifting others up. And I think not to ramble, but I think just to answer your question, to the honest degree is being a part of a community, you will not be stuck on your growth journey. Some steps of the journey might be uncomfortable. You might not feel like you're ready for that next step, but rest assured that you have people in your corner that will have their hand out and be waiting for you to take that step with you.
Definitely, I definitely agree with you, Mr. Dillon. When someone wants to get into a community, when someone wants to get into a community, there's someone has to be sure of the type of community he or she wants to get into. Have to be sure if they really, if it's something that has something that connects others. Because it's very important. Because if not, someone will just get into a community whereby someone will not really like. But there have to be something that connects everyone together. So when someone sees something that connects everyone together, then one will be motivated to show that kindness, to show that support, and to show that care that is needed within one another, and having the sense of listening to one another. I definitely agree with you, and thanks so much for that insight, Mrs. Dillian. And also, Mrs. Dillian, I would also like to ask, there are some people that haven't got into community, they don't know how to get into community, or probably they might wish to create one community. So, how do you think someone can get involved or also probably create their own initiative that uses creativity to serve others, Mr. Dillian?
I think anybody can be involved into a community as long as they have a desire for it. And if there's no community around, the only thing that's stopping a person from building their own community is their own ego, something that's unfamiliar. So if you are a listener who it's just you, but you have this giant movement that you're wanting to accomplish, something that's bigger than yourself, and there you have a passion to do it, I guarantee that if you look hard enough, you will find other people who believe in the same stuff as you. And so we live in a age where we are connected, unlimited across the globe. So community doesn't necessarily need to be in your own backyard. Community can be connected through the interweb. So if you have a want, a desire, and it's bigger than yourself, don't ever limit yourself to the potential of what you can aspire to do, to create, to be, the change that you can cultivate, because all it takes is one other person to believe in you, and that one other person could have a massive network of people that would want to hop on board with your vision as well. I'm a huge believer that we are only ever one conversation away from a very, very different life. And so if a person is wanting to start a community, just start asking questions. Be curious. Ask people how, ask people what they want to be a part of. And you never know, maybe your neighbor, someone that you just are used to sending, good morning and good evening waves to as you pass each other on your way to work. They might have a very similar, uh, soul mission as you. You have no idea unless you actually ask questions. And there's no such thing as a silly idea or a stupid idea or whatever limiting belief that's attached to that. Because if it's an idea that works, it's not silly.
Exactly. I definitely agree with you, Mr. Dillon. You know, anybody can create a community and anybody can definitely get into a community. Someone just have to know the right one and know how one can get into the community to also make an impact. And as you said earlier, I agree with you with what you said. When someone is striving or trying to do something beautiful or trying to have a lot of huge vision ahead of him or her, there are a lot of people who are thinking the same way, who want to also have this kind of future, also want to have this kind of um future within themselves too. So getting each other, building a community is a very, very great way, and one way one can definitely be among and also be more relieved to have this share experience and more importantly share kindness and love towards each other. Thank you so much for the insight. And lastly, Mr. Dillian, in your opinion, what do you feel or what do you think the future of community powered impact look like in the coming future, Mr. Dillian?
I think moving into the future with what we have been witnessing happening in our world with these individual bigger groups that kind of, well, control how our world works and the wedges that it's been putting into society, I actually foresee a lot more smaller communities starting, growing, merging with other communities, basically going back to brotherhood, going back to people supporting people, no longer relying or hoping that government bodies are going to save us or take care of us. And so, as I touched on the last question, whether or not it's communities within your own neighborhood, communities connected through the interweb, more communities connected, via highway, whether or not it's a city right next to yours or a state or a province right next to yours. I think that communities and the growth of communities and the mission statements and the vision that communities have, I genuinely believe that that's going to be the way of the future. I think these bigger organizations are going to start to dismantle because faith is going to be lost in those. And we're going to start focusing more on the people that we see across the street in our backyard, the people that we connect with in real time. And I honestly do think that that's going to be the future. And I think it's going to be a very bright and beautiful future at that.
I definitely hope, as you said, Mrs. Dillian, the future looks that way. Because I have to be honest with you, Mr. Dillian. Currently, at our time, a lot of people are self centered, a lot of anxiety, depression, suicide rates coming higher every single day. We definitely need something like community to come back. And if something like that comes back in the future, it's like a golden era in our time. I have to be honest with you. So we do hope that community comes back. I'm not saying, but I do hope that we do hope that it definitely comes in the coming future, Mr. Dillian. Thank you so much for that insight, Mr. Dillian. And Mr. Dillian, there's a question I normally ask during the end of the show, Mr. Dillian. From our forefathers, there are a lot of things that do exist during our forefathers' time that is missing in our time today, Mr. Dillian. If there is anyone or anything you would like to bring back to our time today, Mr. Dillian, what do you think that thing will be, Mr. Dillian?
The first thing that came to mind was people acting in alignment with their integrity. I think there's a lot of people that preach integrity that don't practice it. I witness it that there's a lot of people that act outside of their integrity and then wonder why they're unhappy within themselves, unhappy in their lives, why their relationships are falling apart. And at the end of the day, like a person can tell a lie so many times for them to believe it. However, you are the one that's alone with your thoughts at the end of that day. You are the only one that lays your head on your pillow.
Yeah.
And I am a huge believer that the only thing in life that matters is what we think about ourselves when we're by ourselves, because every single action that we take stems from that belief. If we feel like we are a failure, we are going to show up in every aspect that we're a failure. If we don't, as I said, live within our integrity, we can show up with a really convincing facade. We can have we can wear these masks that people believe it so much that they can believe it so much that we believe them believing us. But when we lay our head on that pillow, if we were outside of our morals and values, all it does is lower our energetic vibration. And then we wonder why we are sad, lost, alone, scared, all of those low vibration emotions. So, um, I get, yeah, to formally answer your question, I would love to see people living in alignment with their integrity on all levels of society, from people I don't like using the scale, but people at the bottom all the way to the top head of the CEOs of the big companies. In integrity, I think the world would be a very, very different place if everyone just started adopting integrity into their life again.
Yes, integrity is a very beautiful one, Mrs. Dillon. We definitely hope that's definitely come back. And as you said earlier, we could pretend, we could be hypocrites, we could do a lot of things that might not be true. We should say that what we are not really practicing, but definitely it comes back to ourselves, thinking about ourselves, as you said earlier. If we believe that we could do it, we will do it. If we believe that we can't, definitely it will happen. So having that sense of ourselves and having that sense of believing in ourselves, that is where it starts from. Then from there, showing that kindness and reality towards one another will definitely help, because those things are just the truth. Integrity is very, very important, and we definitely hope more of it definitely comes out in the coming future. Honestly speaking, I want to also use this opportunity, Mr. Dillon, to thank you for the time and the opportunity you've given me to speak on community. We do need community. We do need it. It's very important. I think it's one of a thing that was being programmed in the life we are currently. If we aren't with it, it's definitely going to affect in a very hard way. I want to sincerely thank you for the opportunity and the time. Thank you so much, Mr. Didion.
Thank you, Timmy, for having me on. It was been a pleasure.
All right. Have a wonderful day, Mr. Dillion. Bye bye.
Take care.